There we go. That would be horrible if that wasn't ready to go. Okay, now we're recording. I already gone over housekeeping on the mute yourself, use your chat box, your choice to use video. I may not always see you because I'm looking at the presentation right now. So feel free, Dan or John, if you want to just kind of jump in if you need to tell me something and I don't see you raising your hand. Like I said, I'm happy I gave myself a reminder about recording. This will be recorded, so if someone didn't have a chance to hear it or be here today, especially with what happened last night with all the hotels closing, there's a lot of crisis management going on today. This will be ready as a recording. For those who don't know me, I own Carolina Improv Company, the Improv Comedy Theater, which has been closed now a couple weeks. Looks like we're closed for a couple months. So I've got a brick and mortar location that I'm dealing with and suffering through, as well as a training company, which is Pivot10 Results. So we have two businesses that are kind of just shut down right now because we do a lot of training in the market and out of the market. Obviously, there's no traveling going on, and all of our training clients is pretty much canceled or postponed. Even a really large conference in November. And you would think, why November? But people now are getting scared to spend any money. So that threw me for a loop yesterday to have the conference canceled. So that's a little bit about me. One thing that I've walked away from in doing a lot of research on crisis management is right now it's so important about how you make people feel. And when you look at what Maya Angelou says, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel. So now more than ever, it's about being really sensitive to what's going on. I'm sure some of you have received a variety of interesting emails because there's this knee-jerk reaction because we're all in a place of needing cash flow, knee-jerk reaction like push out marketing. Now I kind of get a giggle out of the company that keeps trying to sell me wine. They just must know me well that I need wine. Um, but they're really like every day sending me emails about wine. So I have now, and I don't even know how I got on the list, but I've unsubscribed. So we have to be really have a reality check here. People are anxious and they're scared. They're scared about their next meal. They're scared about paying bills. They're scared about paying their employees. They're scared about getting sick, going out of business, etc. Insert your fears here. Which made me really think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you look at this pyramid, our first needs as human beings are physiological: food, water, warmth, followed by safety, security. We are all going through that right now. We can't even get to the next level of being interested in buying things that are going to make us feel good or move us forward until we have these needs met. And so it's really important to pay attention to having emotional intelligence, which is really about your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself. First of all, we're all feeling it right now. We all have a sense of fear and panic and what's going to happen. I hate to say the good news is we're all going through it. So you're going through it, your customers are going through it. When you can be aware of your own emotions, it's easier than to be aware of other people's emotions to try to help them through the process of managing their behavior along with yours and your feelings. A really quick overview of emotional intelligence, because a lot of people know that this is a really big thing for me in training, is just realizing what emotional intelligence is. It's having a self-awareness and then being able to manage your emotions, and then having a social awareness of what's going on, having empathy, seeing the bigger picture, and having social skills. These are the four main components of emotional intelligence. Just think about how many people are not aware of their behavior right now, especially in marketing and selling. So you have to be aware of everybody else's feelings and emotions, what they're going through, as well as yours. A lot of this has to do with empathy, but here's the acronym I've come up for this is you need to love them. You need to be listening, observing, validating, and evolving in how you react and behave in your marketing messaging. And if you're not listening to what their needs are and paying attention, because they may not tell you, but they may be acting upon it, and then you validate that you understand where they're coming from, and then you pivot or you evolve. So when it comes to messaging, right, this is a big improv tenet that we follow. Like, when it comes to improvising on stage and being a performer, our number one rule is to make other people look good. So keep that in mind when you're focused on how can I make the customer look good, or the employee, or you automatically look good. If you're focused on yourself, uh, that perception is going to come right through, that all you care about is yourself. I read an article this morning that said act, not ads. So right now, advertising, especially, those on the call who sell advertising, right? Like Lamar, it's a really precarious time about to advertise. So it's how you behave and how you act versus how you are, pushing advertising. It's pushing out information versus irritation, right? Like, I got a little irritated like the third time I got an email about buying wine, because I was like, I'm just trying to think about how I'm paying rent right now and not worried about buying wine. Is in the messaging, whatever you're going to message, is it necessary right now what you're messaging? Does it provide service, comfort, transparency? Is it a necessary message? And is it sensitive to their needs and their feelings? Here's the other thing. Everyone has a different impact that they're going through with this. And it's quick to judge people and say, well, they don't understand what I'm going through. What everyone's going through is what they're going through, and that's valid. And so we have to just find a way to accept that that's what they're going through. It gets back to making it about them. And you might not necessarily understand it, but everyone's got a different set of issues that they're dealing with through this. So some quick messaging techniques to keep top of mind. And if anyone wants a copy of this presentation, just put your email address in the chat, and then I will send that out, or I'll send it to the chamber and they can send it out. Speak to their needs, not your benefits. What is it that they need right now? And focus on what it is that your customers do rely on you for. Like, I know that we can't, from an attraction standpoint, whether it's Carolina Improv or the Sky Wheel, our customers can't, what they're looking for is entertainment, right? They can't get that. But is there something else that we can do that still provides them that? I was thinking about the Sky Wheel this morning, and I know most attractions you get your pictures taken. So I don't know, is there something that you can get creative with?
Gina, Kathy had her hand up. I'm sorry, interrupt you.
Say that again.
Kathy had her hand up.
Yeah, you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, you don't see it?
No.
This is so weird. Okay. It says I'm sharing it.
Okay. Well, I don't see it, but
okay.
Oh well.
Did nobody see it? Nobody saw it?
Nobody's seeing it.
Let me try it again. Share.
We see your camera. There it is.
There we go.
Okay.
But it's it's not the slideshow. It's like, it is a slideshow, but we see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, you know what? I had it. I'll just leave it in this format because
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll just leave it in this format. So thank you for someone saying that. Okay, so let me bring you back to everybody. See this on the messaging? Yes. Okay. So focusing in on what it is that you do, speaking to their needs, not the benefits, offering a safe and convenient solutions if it makes sense. Everyone's looking for safety right now. If you've got marketing campaigns running right now that are like autoresponders or auto campaigns, like, like for us, we had all of our shows already scheduled on Facebook events to hit at a certain time. We have an email that goes out that hits at a certain time that's scheduled. This might not even be top of mind right now, that you need to turn those off if those messages don't make sense right now. So you want to go back and look at that. Evolve your tone of voice. There's a lot of hysteria going on right now. And I'm not even saying that in a judgmental way. When we look at emotions and emotional intelligence, we got to be really careful how we come off because it can create, if we're emotional, it's going to create emotions for others, especially with employees. So, I had posted something to our Carolina improv team and I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't post that very well because it kind of created like a panic attack amongst people. So I had to step back and look at, should I have said something differently? So we need to evolve our tone of voice, inform for positive impact, triple check your messaging before you send it out, have other people look at your messaging, um, just as a third pair of eyes, be flexible. This came up the other day on the conversation about collecting money. There are a lot of us that have outstanding receivables right now. And how do you have that conversation um, to get money? Because we're all in the same situation that we want to collect money. And how do you have that conversation? I, reached out to one client because I'm still actually providing consulting work for them remotely. And I'm like, I got to find a way to gently say, right. So we had a open conversation and I worked with them on what they could pay right now. Um, and then had to be sensitive to, I'm like, I'm not going to take food off their table right now. So we're all in that situation. Do not capitalize on fear, yours or theirs, or be reactive. Do not be tone deaf or glib. We're an improv comedy theater. Sometimes our comedy might come off the wrong way, so we have to be careful. And this last one, share once. Don't keep don't keep pushing your messaging out because it's going to get tiresome after a while. Sending it out multiple times during a time of crisis doesn't mean that they're going to buy from you. Other things that we can think about doing, this came up when we did this on Monday. What are things that you can do to donate, product wise or service wise, right? Like I'd reached out to the chamber and said, I want to do something, right? So I'm here today. I want to do something. Can I offer something, some sort of training, and donate my time for that? Is there some discounting that you can do? I know a lot of us who are closed cannot do that, but maybe you can prepare for when you are open. That's kind of a comeback kind of discount. You can, some of you, especially along the consulting and coaching realms, or even from a chamber perspective, you could be checking in on your customers and just saying, hey, just thinking of you, how you doing? Right? Just kind of reaching out, providing value, and not just professionally as a company. What else can you provide people in a time of need? And focusing on joy and nostalgia. We've been having, there's so many funny memes out there of the things that we're joking about, um, to keep our sanity. Whether it's I was actually going to reach out to my hairdresser and ask her for some tips, like what do I do right now while I can't get my hair done? Like I see the gray, and it's, for me that's brutal. Not that that many people are seeing me, but what are some things that we can do to make people laugh or create some joy, and give them some value? I really do need some tips on what I should be doing. I mean, do I get a box of color right now? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Um, and some other things to do before we get a little interactive, things that just top of mind. Know what your company's purpose is. This is a really good downtime to go back to looking at your company's purpose and its vision. We often kind of put that to the side and don't pay attention. And maybe this is a good time because none of us are going to come out of this the same. Things are going to be done differently. Business is going to be done differently because of all of this. Your company's purpose might change or its vision might change. So go back and look at that. Listen to the collective pulse, right? We have our perspective on what needs to happen and what our company's goals are. Um, but we need to be open to listening to everything that's going on around us. And that includes listening to what our employees are saying and listening to what our customers are saying and listening to what our partners and competitors are saying. So we can't be making decisions based just on what our needs are. Um, Refocusing on goals and projects and company values. This is a good time to do that. And being prepared for a bounce back because this is not going to go on forever. It feels like it. It definitely feels like it. But what can you be doing right now to prepare for Q2 and Q3 and Q4? That's where my focus is right now. I can't worry as much about the immediate need for cash flow, but I can have all my ducks in a row for coming out of this. Thank and empower your teams. You know, your teams have ideas, but maybe you're getting caught up and you're not even asking them or paying attention, or ask other people, partners, that you can network with. Get some feedback from them, which is the purpose of this call too, which we're about to get into. And be ready and willing to pivot. You have to be agile. Again, things are not being done the same way anymore going forward. And the way this is how we've always done it. Well, guess what? It's not how we're always going to be doing it anymore. So be open to that, and be open to do things differently, and be willing to do things differently and creatively. I think that's probably the biggest thing I love about the improv world. We embrace failure and we look forward to failure, because failure creates invention and innovation, and new ways of doing things, and find ways to brainstorm and collaborate with others, which is what I want us to do right now. One of the tools that we use, and a lot of you know this, in the world of improv, is the philosophy of yes and, which is a concept of acceptance. I talk a lot about this in customer service and in sales training, but what a lot of people don't realize is you can use this in ideation and innovation, because it's about expanding an idea. So someone might give you an idea on this call that you're like, no, that'll never work. We tried that. That never happened. That's not possible. I'm asking you be open to hearing the idea. Yes, that's an idea. And we could also, right, like how do you take it to the next level? Even if it's taking it to a ridiculous level that would never work, you can then scale it back down. So this is something that we're not doing on a regular basis because we're just powering through the day. But now we have time to actually do that, is to go through this yes and concept of listening to other ideas and then collaborating to come up with something new. So with that being said, I want to hear from you guys. I don't need to share this anymore, so I'm gonna take the share off. I want to hear from any of you that want to just throw something out there and say, hey, I need help with this, or does anyone have a suggestion for how we can do that? Would somebody like to take a stab at that? Anybody?
Hey, I'll jump in.
Okay, John, thank you.
Yeah, first, I love what you said about the failures create innovation. That's that we will all be stronger when we get past this, and we'll get past it. There's no doubt about it. Little on our history, guys, not to bore you, but a year ago we flooded our building, our facility flooded. We didn't have any flood insurance. When we built the facility, we built it 5 feet higher than we were supposed to, so we would never flood. And we had over $200,000 worth of damage. Well, guess what? At the time, it didn't seem like we were going to make it through. We were thinking about bankruptcy and all that stuff, but we did. Till tough times don't last, tough people do. And it's thinking about some doing exactly what we're doing, trying different things, and those things that right now is the time to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? So we're super uncomfortable right now, but we just got to get comfortable trying some new innovative type things. So, for what we do is it's definitely anyone that knows us knows that we're obviously in business, but we are always focused on our partners. Some call them clients, some call them customers. To us, they're our partners because we are a part of them. And what we have done is started making phone calls, and it's basically it's a real genuine kind of your acronym there, love, and it's like this. It's like, hey Gina, this is John. Just touching base with you. I want to make sure that you and your family are okay, that your business is okay, and you're like everybody else probably just so you know that we are praying for you. You know, if you pray, that's great. If you don't pray, don't include that. Be genuine. And then we just let them know that you know that we understand for most of our partners that they're focused on the business policies and the processes within business, which is cutting costs and minimizing expenses at this point, and they're focused all their energy there. What we haven't seen is folks doing the complementary side activities of revenue generating in this time. And so we do have a couple ideas, and you know, I know you're busy with your business, but if we could set up a time later, we could talk about how we can help Pivot 10, you know, get through this and be stronger at the end, and taking in consideration your clients and the sensitivity of that. You know, so if I had to ask you, Gina, what would be your number one concern and focus right now as it regards to your business?
Oh, my number one concern. I think my number one concern that maybe a lot of people share is immediate cash flow.
Right, right. So I definitely know how you feel, you know, because I felt the same way. And so what I have found out is that by doing some of these things that we would have considered traditional activities, meaning a simple handwritten note to my folks, letting them
Hmm.
know that I'm thinking about them and I'm praying for them, and anything that I can do to help you, here's my cell number and I will do it for you. Um, Simple as that, right? That's not marketing. That's being just a real friend, a real
Right.
partner, a real resource. And so for us, I took the time to send out some emails that were genuine like that as well. And yesterday we wound up having like about 6 different orders come in because of that. But outside of the 6 orders, I had about 8 or 9 people just write back, "Thank you so much for that email. And we have you in our prayers as well."
I love that. Um, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've been kind of trying to spin around in my head, which is one reason why we're doing this call today. When I reached out to the chamber and said I want to do something, I think what we forget about is that, like you said, we do things a traditional way. And I saw in the survey, because thank you for those who filled out the survey, people don't want to they don't want to give things away for free, right? That's a big thing. We don't want to give things away for free. Well, here's the thing. No one's paying right now anyway. So what's it matter if you give it away right now? Because it's a being of value and a being of service. And a lot of times people say to me, I can't believe, you'll give away free training. Um, I'm not giving away the whole farm, but I'm going to give away value. And if you decide that you want more of that later, then you're going to come back because I provided you value up front that you want more of. So I think just being in that mindset, I think, John, you had a really good idea for the Sky Wheel of like setting up a live stream. So, your customers can't come out right now. Um, but I mean, I could see Sean doing some wacky things on the Sky Wheel. I mean,
Yeah.
he could be, you could be doing something every day with him on the Sky Wheel that causes people to want to go like, what's Sean doing today?
Hmm. Yeah, and I think, doing that live, that would be really cool. People would just want to get a perspective. And how about this is that I think that would open up the opportunity down the road for folks that have maybe had that fear, because people's fears are real, that they're scared to do the skywalk because of scare of heights or scare of being confined or whatever it might be. But imagine if I can see what that feels like in the sky wheel and go, when this thing's over, or a little kid saying that to his family, "Dad, when this is over, I
Yeah.
want to go in that."
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that's invaluable how powerful that is.
Yeah. Well, I think about the same thing for Carolina Improv. That is something that we're working on, is creating shows online, creating classes online. We're getting requests for it. So that's something that we're developing and figuring out how to make that happen. So there's ways that we can keep our customers engaged, and we have a lot of followers. One thing that we're doing right now is pushing out our YouTube videos from shows. So we do have a number of videos on our YouTube channel. So it's like, do you need some levity right now? And we push that out, and it just keeps it top of mind for us. I'm thinking about like a company like FSA, right? Just putting out tips for, we're all stuck in our homes right now. What are things that people can be doing around their homes, or weatherizing their homes, or doing something to keep their homes safe? What is some information that maybe FSA can provide to their customers right now, because they're not necessarily seeing a lot of need for their services? Thinking about
Do
things like that.
Yeah, I would do something that would take in consideration of the family time. Yeah, I mean, because here I am, we got the family at home, and after 6 hours, everybody's wanting to kill each other, and so, but come up with some family-oriented safety activities. So why don't we do, something from FSA could be a daily family activity, and today, guys, from this announcement from FSA would be check the batteries, right? Go check your batteries and your smoke detectors.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need a car? Today's is why do you need a carbon monoxide sensor? And go into that. Just to use it for educational pieces, and that's kind of some good activities. Maybe
Yeah,
Mark might be still on the phone. I don't know, but maybe they're
he is.
offering
Yeah.
decontamination for places that are that know that there was a patient that was
Oh, yeah.
infected or something like that. Um, a list of these are the best types of decontaminators. Not a spray because it has too much volume, but you want to use something that's an aerosol because of less volume and it doesn't saturate. I don't know. I'm just trying to use terminology I don't even know.
Well, and I think that's great, John, because what I like about doing something collaborative like this is that we don't have to necessarily know someone's industry. Sometimes when you're thinking outside of the box and coming from a completely different perspective, it gives us a different way to think about things, right?
Yeah, so I will make a personal appeal to Rock and Jump. I want to learn how to do a backflip at 50 years old and 210 pounds. So there's your first deal, is teach me how to do that. If there's no hope, there's no hope. So you tell me, lose. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Don't be a wise guy there, Rock and Jump, about losing 50 pounds, and then I can do it.
That's awesome. Oh, Chase said that they are posting kitchen tips to avoid fires. Boy, I wish you would have done that sooner. Because I've been cooking a lot and creating a lot of smoke in the kitchen. I think that's great, especially for those of us not used to being at home cooking. That's a great one to offer. Does anybody else want to jump in with a question or comment or collaborative idea?
Here I am. Actually, this is to Allie. She queried in the chat that said, any ideas for the hotels? Big thing is, all the hotels have these still photos, stuff like that. Instead of the still photos, go through and do virtual tours, active virtual tours.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is that you've got a lot of little kids that are there. It's like, so, do find the creative activities that you can do while you're staying there. It could be little arts and crafts projects, or how do you build a really good sand sculpture or beach sculpture? Anything like that. It's trying to think outside the box. It's I said this is the rise of the creatives. I mean, it's the rise of creative thinking. And if we don't start thinking creatively, we're all going to just crash. I'm sorry. But the others said, what can you do to, with all of this, we're trying to save ourselves, but it's like, what can we do to take advantage of getting out there in nature, do nature walks? And what are the nature walks, say to you? I can go on and on and on.
Thank you. Those are great ideas.
Thanks.
Sean, I'll get you next. I'm going to, Rachel had her hand up first, so I'm going to go to Rachel. Go ahead, Rachel.
Yes. So I am getting pressured by corporate management, upper investors, and whatnot to try and bring ideas to the table to bring in any kind of cash flow day to day. And one of the suggestions from the higher ups was like gift cards, so that way the people can use them in the future. I really struggle with this because I have a hard time suggesting that you buy a Skywheel gift card when you can't get bread or toilet paper. So, I just kind of wanted to see everybody else's thoughts of if that is appropriate to be doing something like that when we're thinking about, like you said, emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about being really careful with what you're offering right now, because are you going to repel them?
Right.
You're
Right.
and I would, that my personal opinion is to be really careful with that. I mean, that's sort of my approach. Obviously, we can't sell show tickets right now. So from an attraction standpoint, even selling a gift certificate right now, nobody wants to spend that money when they can't make a decision whether or not they're actually going to come see us.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of where I feel. So it's good to see that I'm not like an outcast for thinking that way.
No. And you got to realize that those above you are freaking out about cash flow. And so that's why they're pushing on you to do that. But it's really not appropriate from an emotional intelligence standpoint, and you may lose them in the future versus
right.
gain
That's
them.
how I feel. Yeah. I'd rather protect our brand and our standards.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully gain the trust so that they will come back later,
Yeah. I don't know. Whew, somebody's out on a motorcycle.
Yeah, what's your thought on this? Is that what if you put that out, enter to win a weekly gift card for the Skywheel,
Yeah.
and you give away a freebie, but then what you're doing is getting your list of people that do have genuine interest. Or you could do something about we're taking reservations for once we all get past this. For reservations, we're going to do 20 of them for free.
I like that, doing like a weekly drawing or something like that. I like that.
Yeah, that doesn't generate from a stakeholder standpoint. I get it, but ultimately, do we want to make money right now, or do we want to be here for, like you say, repel people? Do we want to is our vision this far, or is it this far?
Right. Yeah.
Right? And,
exactly.
And that's how I would pitch it to the stakeholders, is that you understand it from their end, that they're invested, but understand too the longevity, if you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
Right. Like that.
And Leslie's suggestion, I think this is for you, but this could be for a number of you, is can you sell swag? Can you have that up for sale? Is that something that can keep people excited? I mean, there are other things that you can sell that maybe you can't sell your attraction. Again, you just have to be really careful with the messaging behind that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the fact that I'm not alone in that thinking.
Yeah, you're not. I'm going to jump over to Sean, and then Amy, you're next with your hand up. So Sean.
Hey guys, so just wanted to build off the collaboration that you mentioned with your team. Sky, calm down. But she hardly ever barks. So we've actually resourced with our team, Sky, Marie. So what we're doing is we actually put it out to our team to discuss ways that we can put together content that's engaging. And I used to do science experiments at my former job. Rachel's been doing arts and crafts with her kids. Our manager is doing cooking segments. So we all tried to branch it out to different people within our company to put together these videos. And it's been really cool to see and showcase a different side of the Skywheel, other than just a ride, but the people behind the ride. So.
Gotta unmute myself. I like that. I still want to see you, Sean, like writing every day and
Oh yeah.
funny videos of you.
Oh
Where in the world is Sean?
yeah.
Uh,
The wheel itself isn't operational at this point though for anyone, so that's
yeah,
kind of been the hiccup there.
yeah, sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we're all open to ideas of. I took just a video of the beach yesterday outside the sky wheel, just showing the waves, hearing the
Yeah,
sound.
yeah,
Posted that video, and a lot of people engaged with that.
yeah, yeah.
Just interviewed or engaged with beach pictures, empty beaches.
Yeah, well, I mean, people do want to see the beach, so that gives them joy if you can show them some of that.
Yeah, so we appreciate all your guys' ideas too. This has been really insightful.
Awesome. Good. Well, I'm going to jump over to Amy.
Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts right now.
Go, Amy, go. That's why I wanted
Yeah.
you on this call.
So when I teach sales and marketing, like I like to reframe a sale as a yes to an invitation or an opportunity. And marketing is creating the condition where that yes is natural, easy, and enthusiastic, right? So think about what you can be creating today that will create when eventually there's a yes to be had, that creates that natural and enthusiastic yes to come from your clients. And I want to invite you to think about collaboration beyond what you might be used to. You know, when you're in business, you often see like other people as competition, but maybe shift to seeing other people as peers. And I'm going to jump on the sky wheel example, right? What if the sky wheel, let's say the sky wheel was operational. What if the sky wheel did a video with Carolina Improv, where there was like an improv scene in the sky wheel, or you took the mascot from another business for a ride on the sky wheel. Like really think about how you can collaborate with other local businesses that you might see as competition in other times, and really pull in this idea that we're all in this together. I don't think you should be afraid of trying to sell things in this time. For tourist attractions, that's going to be a little more difficult because obviously no one's traveling right now. Don't be afraid of selling things, but use all of that emotional intelligence that we talked about previously to figure out for yourself what is appropriate, and test all your ideas on yourself, right? Like if if we were marketing that wine business that Gina was talking about, would we send daily emails saying buy more wine? If you wouldn't do it, if you wouldn't purchase that way, don't market that way.
I love that. Thank you. Amy is a great resource, and I've known Amy for many years, and I know the majority of us on this. I think Amy's the only one from out of town, out of state, but she's got a lot of great marketing and sales ideas. So I asked her to be on this call as a resource because she's a really great resource. So feel free to reach out to her.
Yeah, if anybody needs to like bounce ideas off of someone, it's often good not to market inside a vacuum. So like with the gift card idea for the sky wheel, sometimes you need an outside opinion about whether or not this is actually a good idea when your higher ups are pressuring you to do something. So you can always feel free to reach out to me and I can soundboard things for you.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you haven't put your email address in the chat box, or you can, I know if you're on the phone, you could actually send it, you could send it to me. You can email Gina at pivot10results.com and we can send out information to you. One of the things John put in the chat, hospitality ideas, team up with the attractions and amusements in the area, create a personalized landing page for folks canceling, send out a hyper-targeted piece that is sensitive to the situation, have empathy, and the landing page would be John Cassidy 2020. I don't know what all that is, John. Yeah, I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, it'd be something that's, John Cassidy.2020 vacayredo.com or Cassidy Family 2020 vacayredo.com. And just they're empathetic. It would be complemented with a direct mail piece and your Facebook, and just driving your folks to let them know, listen, we understand that you saved all year long to go on your vacation, and these acts that were out of everyone's control squashed it. And because of that, we want to say, even though we're not personally responsible, we're sorry. We're sorry that this happened, and we want to make the next vacation better than anything that possibly could be done. And if you tell us the dates that you would like to look at rescheduling, we'll have, a personal reach back out to you. It's just, you got to stay in touch with the customers, and let them know. I think,
Yeah.
and it's all those different points of touches, that you need to reach out to them. I mean, the number one way would be training your staff to personally call those people and not sound like salesy.
Yeah.
That's super, super hard. Maybe it's a video from one of the board members or from the owner of the place, and has a real true, voice inflection and all that stuff.
Oh, it sounds like I should create a how to make phone calls video.
Yes.
Thank you for that idea, because that's what I just got from that.
Cool.
Since that's
Yeah.
one of my specialties.
I love the idea of personalization. I think the more you can personalize your marketing and your services right now, the better off you're going to do. For example, I saw from a local hair salon that they are creating your custom color kit, so you can get your custom color from your hairdresser to take care of your grays, with all the equipment that you need. Even go above and beyond and offer like a free Skype session about how to apply their color properly to your hair. So the more you can personalize what you're doing right now, I think the better off you'll be in the future.
Love that. Thank you for tapping into my hair. That's what we call a callback, because I am very concerned about the gray. I want to talk a little bit about hotels, especially because we've got a couple hoteliers on, and I know that I do a lot of conference work, and I do a lot of conference speaking, and I do a lot of conference training at breakouts. A lot of that business has canceled on me. I'm sure that, Deborah, you're experiencing that with groups. If she's still there. Any thoughts on what hotels can be doing, not just for getting their guests back into the hotels, but I know from a conference business perspective, that's big for us here. It's in attracting conference business. What are some things that could be creative for hotels to do?
So, Gina, if you go back to that hierarchy of needs, I think the first thing when you're considering travel and hotels, the first thing people are going to be concerned with is, am I safe?
Yeah.
So you might want to do some work in prepping your language around what kind of sanitation process you've created to sanitize your facility, and then ongoingly what you're going to do on a daily basis once business picks up again, to satisfy that need. Safety is everyone's first concern.
Yep.
So prep that work now, and you can even start talking about it now. Like, we're changing how we're doing things. This is how we're moving forward to make sure that you're safe inside our facility. I think that's the first thing that you need to take care of. Secondly, I've been through the dot-com bust, the 9/11, the 2008 recession, and the first thing that happens to every business is they gut and they cut their marketing dollars. And I totally get that, right? It's the first line item that seems like it's expendable.
And training.
Correct. Employee development and marketing are the two things that get cut first. So I would not put your brakes on your marketing right now. I wouldn't go full steam ahead, but have a plan where you're staying in contact with people from a communication standpoint, and then moving forward. So for a hotel, for example, start highlighting employees of the month or your favorite customers or experiences that have happened there in the past. What are the unique attractions of your hotel? Start highlighting those things, and don't put calls to action on them. Don't put promises of when you're going to be back in business full swing, because no one ever wants to break a promise like that. So first see to the safety measures so that your guests know that they'll be safe in visiting, and then keep in constant communication, however you do that, by social media or marketing, without a strong call to action to rent hotel rooms just yet.
Yeah, I love it. And it's funny you say full steam ahead, which since you don't live here, that's the long version of FSA. And so that kind of gave me an idea of if you're trying to communicate safety to people coming into hotels, there might be some, good partnership between an FSA and a hotel on what can they do together to communicate that, things are safe to come back. Just throwing a random thought out there. Anybody else have any questions? John, I did see, the virtual conference. I think that is something cool that can be done, especially, you might not make money on that in a hotel, but just merely suggesting to customers who have canceled their conferences of how to assist them through, having a virtual conference, and just adding value to them to do that and help them. Maybe you have an IT department that can actually help a customer do that had to cancel an event with you. That's something to think about. Does anyone else have any challenges that they want to post out that they want advice on this call before we wrap it up? Because we're a little bit over an hour, and I try to keep everybody at the hour point so that we don't lose attention. So if anybody else wants to jump in with a question or a challenge. Pam, did you want to say something? It looked like you did. No?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'll just say I think this has been really wonderful, and just the collaboration and everything. And I guess that's all I want to say. It's just that trying to think of some things, did get some good ideas the other day. We're probably going to be looking at some virtual networking events and things, just ways of connecting our members, giving them exposure to each other, but looking at things differently, in this new normal for now. So, but anyway, just a lot of really good ideas.
Thank you, Pam. And I think that's a really great idea to do some virtual networkings, because we are all craving interaction, and we don't have chamber events that we can go to right now. And so even if you niche them, I think wasn't there a women's wine thing this week that was supposed to happen? And I was like, there's no reason why we couldn't do that virtually. So, hey, Amanda, you want to say something?
Yeah, we are actually planning some virtual through Zoom B2B Connect style networking events, and maybe happy hours too. So we
Excellent.
do want to get people connected, and we're going to be doing that virtually, rolling it out as early as next week, hopefully maybe 2 weeks.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you.
I'll share with you really quick, Jada. This is outside the topic, but if you want to get some good ideas, like my daughter is a senior at Wofford, and of course, all of them are upset. It's just not just those students, but all students in general, because it's their last year and stuff. And when I got home last night, I went in to check on her and went into a room, and they had a Zoom going on like this, and they were doing fine time. And so they're all like in their 22 and 23 and 24, and they were all drinking wine and cheese. And it was all the kids from Wofford. And it was pretty cool to see them all just talking about it and just doing, it was neat to see that creativity taking place. So anyway, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, it made me think of to share with you.
That's cool. Well, again, this is going to be our new normal. Leslie, you had your hand up. Trying to unmute you. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I wasn't prepared for this even being on video, so
you look fabulous.
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, darling. So anyway, Gina, I just wanted to say thank you. I've found this to be very beneficial.
Good.
I spend 80% of my work life face to face with people, and that's it's killing me.
Yeah.
Not being able to, talk to people face to face and be around people. So yeah, and especially, my, business peeps, it's been really, really nice to be able to do this.
Oh, good. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Well, that's a good segue for, can you guys see my screen? My screen share? Just want to leave you with a couple things. While this is not necessarily about management, it's a really, I think, a good quote that management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. And I think that when it comes to working with our customers or our employees, that's a really big thing to keep in mind, is doing the right things. A couple resources that kind of keep us all together. One resource I want to offer up is our Women Your Mother Warns You About podcast, which while it focuses on women in business, last week's episode, we kind of went on a rant about, how this is crushing our business. We have some really great experts and speakers that come on that show that talk about sales. So there's a lot of really great past shows that from a selling perspective might be a good resource for you. So it's womenyourmotherwarnsyouabout.com, and my co-host, she's a local mortgage lender, Rachel Pitts. We're a little irreverent and raw, but we definitely bring you some good content. And most recently, because this has kind of come together, I did create a Facebook group earlier this week. It's the small business, I think it's called COVID recovery group. That's the link to it that's on the screen, facebook.com groups. I can also email that out to everybody. One thing that we're going to at least try to do is there'll be another call on Monday. That'll be more of the collaboration, bounce ideas off of, which was the last part of this call was, not so much content like I did at the beginning. So if you're looking for just having people to bounce off of, Monday at noon, and if I can keep that going Monday at noons, I would like to do that. So I can email that information, that link to everybody to join that group. We'll have another one of these Zoom calls on Monday that's more of a hangout of like bouncing ideas off of each other, maybe just eating lunch together. I don't know. We just have some kind of interaction with each other. And this is my contact information, Gina at Pivot10Results.com. My phone number, if you want to call me directly, is 843-597-6393. You can find me just about on any social media outlet by typing in Gina Tremarco. So if you want to connect with me that way, you can do that. And I'm going to go back and make sure I've got everything on. Anything else in the chat? Other than that, I really appreciate everybody's time to get on and to share today. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I will, if you've put your email in the chat, I will email you a copy of the PowerPoint if everybody wants that. And that's all I have for you. So thanks everybody for being here today.
Thanks, Gina.
You're welcome. You guys go
Everyone.
have a great Friday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right,
Thank
bye.
you.